What's up everyone, it's HK Gaming. Today I have a Ronin build share with you guys. This will be the ultimate team supporter build. Ronin is the only class that you want to have at least one in your team. First, let's look at the technique that we choose. This is built for the nightmare survival mission, but it will work with the story too. Of course, we will be using the healing incense. This is the reason why Ronin is so special, and it is the only skill that we have in game to increase the team's sustainability. You can use it while in combat or between waves. It is much better than finding a drum. For the perk 1, we'll be using decrease cast ability cooldown by 15%. Weakening burst will cause you 1 resolve, which the skill itself is not good. Ronin Unleashed as a passive skill, it will decrease the healing incense by 6 seconds. And we are not choosing the enhanced ghost weapon because we are not doing the damage. Our job is to save, to heal, and to revive our teammate. It's the same reason why we are not choosing the staggering in position for perk 2. And I think the default stagger damage is already enough. Next is the resolve increase. I know I've mentioned it in my previous video, but we are not choosing this. Instead, we'll be using the quick regen as perk 2. This will help you to hold one entire region or area just by itself. We'll have combat footage later in the video to show what I meant. The main reason why I'm not using resolve increase is because we cannot use 2 resolve increase at the same time. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but let me show you what I meant here. For the charm gear modification, we'll have one called resolve increase, which will increase your maximum resolve by 1. I've tried using the gear resolve increase with the technique resolve increase. I thought I would have total of 5 resolve, but the fact is I will only have 4. If I have 5 resolve in total, that means I will almost always have a second ultimate ready. But that doesn't work, so we'll choose quick regen. For perk 3, we'll be choosing soothing breath. This allows your team to have a heal regen after you revive them, so your teammate doesn't die right after. And for the fire breath, it might give your teammate some time, but the stated effects are not enough to kill the enemy and they will still need healing. Not to mention that this week nightmare survival mission, the enemy won't take any status effect. Any mission like this, the fire breath is completely useless. And for the legendary, I would say the legendary gear aren't so powerful right now. I would say ghost weapon is the only gear that worth using a legendary. I have some legendary katana and it really isn't that powerful, to be honest. For assassin, it will be smoke bomb and assassinating mainly. And for samurai, it will be using your ultimate to do damage. I'll be making a separate videos about those classes. But anyways, the water katana is the melee weapon that we want. The water stand and the wind stand will allow you to handle every single type of enemies in game right now. For the modification, first one will want a melee damage. This will help you to clean out those low health enemy a little bit quicker. Of course, you can choose the melee resolve gain, but unless your teammate die all the time, otherwise it wouldn't come as good as the melee damage. Cleaning out those low health enemy also help a lot by sustaining one area just by itself. The second one can be really up to your choice. You can use the melee resolve gain or the melee stagger damage, or even ability cooldown reduction or stagger damage will work. It wouldn't make a huge difference, which is why Ronin is so good. You don't have to have a perfect gear. And for the last part, I choose the wind stand. The burning and poison blade sounds good, but like this week nightmare survival, the enemy won't take status and it will become useless. And for the weight of the flame, this is actually something that is useful, but the duration is way too short and the cooldown is way too long. It still provides you a way to do damage without staggering your enemy, but I wouldn't suggest using this. Instead, Winston provides another way for you to deal with the spear type of enemy. Even if you're in middle of attacking, if the enemies attacks you, Winston will auto-block the enemy's attack so you don't have to dodge for it. Or if you're very confident of handling those spear enemies, you can use the Water Master. For ranged weapons, I personally don't use ranged weapon a lot, but I like to use bow and arrow to try to clean out some enemies before they reach the area. But it will be completely useless if you're defending the area just by yourself. If you want to use your ranged weapon to help you a little bit while defending, I suggest the bomb pack. It will do some AoE damage and it will do some CC effects on the enemies too. And it doesn't have a lot of possible outcomes, so it can be very easy to have a finished gear. Next is the charm. This is very important. You have to use the Ronin charm. The first perk will be using the injured resolve gain, so if you take damage, your resolve increase more. It helps you to get your ultimate ready a little bit faster. Plus you have a healing skill, so that wouldn't be a major problem. The second perk will be using the healing instant radius. If you have a plus 100%, it will be massively large when you use healing instants. And this is what it looks like in combat. Just look at the area that it covers. It's crazy. And for the last perk, we will be using the combat regeneration to make sure that you don't die, even if you don't have any healing skills. The most important part of playing a Ronin is to stay alive. The first ghost weapon, I recommend using the sticky bomb or the dust. We rely on the first ghost weapon to do some kind of a short CC, and it provides a little bit of damage too. I'll recommend you have this perk called Lucky, 15% chance to instantly reset the cooldown. This can come in handy when you're lucky, and the fire up and the increased radius aren't so useful. For perk 2, you can use cooldown reduction or the status effect duration. For perk 1, we'll have the damage increase. For ghost weapon 2, we will have to have a smoke bomb. This is by far the best ghost weapon. It provides you a way to survive, to do damage like assassination. And this is an area of effects which your teammates will be benefits too. And of course we will be using Lucky as our perk, 15% chance to instantly reset cooldown on use. If you're lucky enough, you can just throw smoke bomb after smoke bomb after smoke bomb. And for the perk, I do suggest using the staff attack damage instead of the staff. And I don't recommend using the cooldown reduction on kill, because your job is not to do damage, so your kills aren't going to be a lot. The first perk, of course, we're gonna be using the cooldown reduction. Let's look at what it does in combat. So I was defending stable with my teammate, then I see enemies spawn in villa, then I went. One thing to keep in mind playing those survival missions is that you have to make sure you're aware of where the enemy are spawning. You always want to go first and let your teammate handle the enemy waves while you're defending alone. So your teammate can have 2 to 3 people in the area cleaning out those waves very quickly. And they don't have to worry about the area that you're defending. Your job is to hold before your teammate finish everything else and then come to help you. You can see that I use smoke bomb to clean out those low health enemies to make things a little bit easier. Then I'll attack 1 to 2 hit to the enemies and not to be greedy about doing many damage. And even if my team get into some difficult situation like this here right now, I can still use my ultimate to revive them. I will still do as much damage as possible, but my priority is to hold, not to kill. Also because they have so many people in one area, they can quickly wipe out the enemies and then come help. But of course most likely it will be 2 to 3 enemies left for them. You have a smoke bomb to help you to do damage, so it wouldn't be too bad. And at the end I'll have the last wave for you guys to see what this will really be about. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe as well. I'll be making more gaming videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.